People, we are back with another dope episode. Yo, today I got another special guest in the building. Taylor is not here right now because life is lifing. My baby got a job, so she can't do the podcast as much as I would like her to anymore. She's gonna be back, but just this week though, I want to invite another special guest in, and that special guest is my baby girl, my youngest daughter. Her name is Miss Kennedy Elise. Kennedy, say what's up to the people, girl.
Hey y'all, it's so nice to be back on this podcast. I know I was on it a long time ago, but we're gonna start making it more consistent.
I would love that. I would love that. Yo, today, I just want to let everybody know that today's subject is going to be a little bit out of the norm. And if you are triggered by hearing about trauma, if you are triggered about hearing about death, then this episode is not for you. But I find that it's really important for us to do this today because my daughter at 19 years old, she's experienced a lot. Um, from pandemics to lots of death, just lots and lots and lots of different things. And I'm pretty sure that there are other teenagers out there or young adults out there that have experienced a lot that she's experienced. And so I thought it would be a good idea that we talked about it. This episode is for young adults. This episode is for parents that, maybe having a hard time connecting with their kids and not knowing the right questions to ask their kids or to talk about. So I thought it was super dope, and I thought it was important that she volunteered to come on here and do that for me. So again, I thank you, Kennedy. And if there's anything that you don't want to talk about on air, we don't have to talk about it. But again, I think that it'll be a really great opportunity for us and for other people to get something out of this. So we're gonna jump right into it. So Kennedy, talk to me, baby girl, about how you have been. Just recently, right outside of your dorm, there was a dead body. There's no other way to put that. There have been multiple shootings at that racetrack right across the street from your dorm, but this time there was a dead body literally laying in the street. How do you get through that? What are your experience like? What are you feeling? What's going on? Talk to me. Talk to the people.
Um, I just want to put out there that the same situation did happen in October, and there was another dead body. I just don't want to shadow that because that's still a big part. But it's both times I've made sure that I stay inside. Like when I heard those gunshots, I closed my blinds and I went back to do what I was doing. Because it's just I don't know. I feel like that's just the most that I can do right now. I mean, of course, I can advocate for less gun rights and everything, but it's you feel so helpless when you're in a situation and this is literally happening outside of your door. And it's also when this was happening, my cousin's trial was going on. They were trying to get his killer convicted basically. So I was just feeling very overwhelmed. I made sure to journal about it because honestly, it feels like a never-ending cycle. And of course, I don't want it to be never-ending, but it's just the way that things are going right now, and the way that it seems like nobody is trying to do anything about it. It just feels like I'm very helpless.
Goodness gracious. So you feel like you're helpless. There's nothing you can do about it. So this was, and I'll just tell you from a parent's perspective. From a parent's perspective, it's been very, I don't know what the right word is, challenging to find out what the emotions are that you're actually going through. Because when it happened you said October, right? When it happened in October, what happened was that someone had gotten shot at the racetrack right across the street from her dorm. But when I called Kennedy to find out that she was okay, she was literally at a party. Like afterwards, she was just like, "Hey, pops, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm at a party." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like somebody just got killed, and it was like it wasn't even. It seemed as if you were numb, like that you were just like, "This is my new norm, so I got to move on with my life." Is that what happened, or you tell me what happened?
I think that I know you remember that shooting that happened in I think it was New York or something, where that person came to that grocery store and he was shooting a whole bunch of people. I think that was 2022, but I think after that I was just having a lot of anxiety about just gun violence in general, about going to college, just you know, just about guns in general. But I think after that I kind of became desensitized. Just because I started going to parties, and the parties I was going to was people were shooting in there. So it was just I had to talk to my therapist about it, just about living in fear, because basically I was afraid to go to college. I was afraid to have any fun in college because I just felt if I go out, maybe this will happen, maybe this will happen. So it kind of started turning into something I just have to desensitize myself to it. I know, like, I'm not supposed to desensitize myself to something like that because that's terrible. I should never be desensitized to that. But, it really feels like you have no other option because living in fear, that's not going to help you at all. You can obviously live with a passion to want to do something about it, but living in fear, that's not gonna help you at all.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement. However, it does scare me a little bit because, when I was growing up, we didn't have like what I mean, again, you have gone to parties where there has been a shooting at the party and the boy died. This is when you were in high school. You have been around and your cousin has got murdered. You have been around at your dorm and somebody got and it just seems like it's so much that has been happening that again, like it feels like you're desensitized to it. And
Yeah.
that is the part that really scares me is that, damn, she don't even think like that. I know that you know that it's wrong or that it's hurt, but
Mm.
it doesn't seem like you go through that emotion of sadness and hurt. Or maybe you do, but you just don't show me that.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Again, I just feel like that, like the sadness and hurt, like it happened, of course, with every situation, but they were just a lot more extreme when I was first hearing about it. I think that like I started hearing about like shootings and stuff, like um in my elementary school when that shooting in Florida happened with that school, and that's like the first time I ever heard about it. So literally, ever since elementary school, I've been hearing about this, and it's like I have to control, how I react to it, because having a violent like outburst and like feeling all this emotion, like yes, it's good to express your emotion, but it's also like I think that I've taken on more of like a comforting role like for other people now. So I
Mm.
think because I have so much like experience just dealing with this again since I was in elementary school, it's like now I think that I've gotten to manage my emotions enough to the point where I can help other people.
So see, while I think that that's beautiful and that's dope, that's just not your responsibility. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you 19 years old, you're supposed to be living life, enjoying college, and not having to be a counselor to friends. I love that you're able to do that,
Mhm.
but it just breaks my heart I'm getting a little emotional, but it breaks my heart as a parent to know that my daughter, my 19-year-old, is out there counseling other people because she's experienced so much death and so much trauma in her life that she's like, hey, I can be there for other people. While I love that you're doing that,
Mhm.
it's just that's tough because you should never be in that position, like ever. And we have to do a better job as society to stop this shit from happening. And I don't know how to do that, but I think that this is one way of just talking about it. And that's the first step. If we talk about it more, and the more and more we talk about it, I believe that something can change and something, but nothing's ever going to change if we don't talk. You
Yeah.
dig? So I appreciate you just being open and honest about how you're feeling. So you did mention therapy, and your mother and I, we got you guys both in therapy a long time. When your mother and I we were going through a divorce, we thought it was a good idea for you guys to start going to therapy. And what has been your experience with therapy, and how has it helped you?
I think that therapy really, really depends on your therapist. Like I've had some experiences where I have like I don't want to say bad therapists because none of my therapists have been bad. If y'all are watching this, I love all y'all. It's like I just have things where I feel like I can't really open up 100% to certain therapists. But my current therapist, she is one of the best therapists that I've ever had. I think that it's so important to have someone like literally paid to just listen to you, like talk about your problems, and actually have real like solutions to them. I mean, of course, they can't handle everything, but they can obviously like give you advice and just do things. And it's like I started to realize how much of a burden it was, like just dumping my problems on other people and just always like, relying on other people to make me feel better, basically. But it's like my therapist, that's what she's there for. Like, I just can't. Everyone should go to therapy. Literally, everybody should go to therapy. If you're watching this right now, you should book with Life Coach ATL. I know he's not a therapist, but we can do some of that stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, therapy is all about finding the right therapist. Once you find the right one, whoo! I had a therapist. Her name is Keisha, and my current therapist, his name is John. He's really good. She was really good. I've had the opportunity to have some My old therapist, Amy, she was really good. But I've had an opportunity to have some really good therapists in my life, and I've also had some bad ones. And I'm like, oh Lord. But it's almost like trying on a pair of shoes. It's like, okay, if the first shoe don't work, try on another pair. Okay, keep
Yeah.
trying on another pair until you find the right one that fits. And once you find the right one that fits, all right, then we're good. Then you can open up. But if you ever find yourself not being able to be honest with your therapist or your life coach or whoever, then they're not the right ones for you. Like
Yeah.
real talk, because they can't help you if you're not being honest with them about what's going on with you. And well, let me ask you, why do you feel like you were not being able to be honest with the therapist that you've had in the past?
I feel like sometimes as a Virgo, I feel like I just know like when someone is if I like someone or if I don't like someone. It's not necessarily that I didn't like them, but it's like if I have a therapist, I want to feel zero judgment at all. And I feel like if I've ever felt like any type of judgment coming from a therapist, I automatically shut down. That's something that I've like done since I was younger. I've just shut down when I don't want to talk to people or when I like get my feelings hurt or when I, you know how I get. But I'm
I
definitely
know.
a therapist, and I feel like if I don't feel comfortable enough to open up to you, if I'm shutting down with my therapist, like what am I in therapy for?
Yeah, I agree. I agree 1,000% with that. So I don't know if there's anything else that you want to touch on in this subject, baby girl. I think that we've covered a lot. I don't want to focus too much on just the trauma, but maybe like how you're getting through the trauma.
Hmm.
And so maybe that can help. If you have any other advice to give the young adults, what would that advice be?
Um, I say just like love on each other because really, you know, there's no reason why you should be going out like to take someone's life. I know sometimes people get in disputes and then just like man, whatever, I'm just gonna shoot them. And it's like I don't think that you should have that place in your heart, like that hatred in your heart, like. And I think that only comes from not understanding people, not communicating with people. I think the only thing that we can do, since these gun laws, it doesn't seem like they're going to change anytime soon, is just communicate with people, have compassion towards each other. Because if you don't care about anyone or the way that anyone's living, why should you care for their life, basically? So it's like I feel like it's very important to have compassion, very important to just care for other people because people are going through a lot more than you see on the outside.
Yeah, I agree 1,000% with
Hmm.
that. Let me ask you this, and this may be a tough question to answer. I mean, especially if it's not going the way that I may think it may go. But is there anything else that you feel like your mother and I could have prepared you for, as far as this thing called life and the things that you are experiencing and are going through? Are there things that you're like, man, my parents they ain't talking to me about that, or man, I wish they would have talked to me about this? Are there things like that?
I think that we never touched on like gun violence at all. But I also think that might be because, when I was younger, again, that wasn't really a big thing. I mean, maybe it was. I don't really know because I wasn't like, out for real. But I think that might be the main reason. But it's like, I think that I'll talk to my kids about that, of course. But I think for me, like, just going through that on my own, learning how to deal with it, I think that's made me a part of the person who I am now. So I don't wish that you guys would have talked to me about it. I think it would have been a good conversation to have, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, my parents never talked to me about this. How do I deal with the situation? Because again, I'm 19 now. I feel like I'm in college. I'm just dealing with real world situations, and it's like some things you have to learn on your own. But I think that you guys did a good job.
Thank you, baby girl. I appreciate that. And I think, not even in a defensive way, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we didn't have like you weren't in college, and so you weren't next to a convenience store that people are literally getting shot and killed. So it wasn't prevalent at that time. So we would talk to you about other stuff, but yeah, you are right. We didn't really like this is how you deal with death, and this is going to happen. We didn't
Yeah.
have those kind of conversations with you that I do wish that we would have had. However, I do believe that you being in therapy has helped you out tremendously. You being
Hmm.
able to talk to people has helped you out tremendously. You being able to talk to me, being able to talk to your mom has been able to help you out tremendously in all of this. And I marvel at you. I marvel at young adults that have experienced a pandemic, that have
Hmm.
experienced the things that you've experienced. Man, y'all are just resilient, and
Hmm.
it's sad that you have to go through it, but it's also like, damn, like you don't really know your own strength. Like you would have never known how strong you were unless you had to go through all the stuff that you've gone through right now. Now, I
Yeah.
wish that you hadn't gone through it, but you would have never known how strong you are. And I believe with all of my heart, all of I'm saying it with my chest, I believe that you can go through anything in this world, anything, and you can make it through anything. So
I
yeah,
have
man,
one.
yep.
Okay, so I know that Taylor went to the illustrious Howard, and I'm at Georgia State. I don't really know how like gun violence was at Howard, but do you wish that like I went to another school that wasn't like so open, that didn't have like incidents like this, or do you think that it's like inevitable wherever I go?
I think that it would have been wherever you went. I think that it could happen at Howard. It could happen at Georgia State. It could happen at Florida State. It could, I mean, and it's happened. You know what I mean? It's Columbine. It happened at a high school, predominantly white high school. So it could happen anywhere that you go. So no, I don't ever wish that. And I mean, from a selfish point of view, honestly, I'm happy that you right down the street from me. I know that you don't be happy sometimes, but I'm happy that you right down the street from me, so I can take you to lunch and hang out with you and stuff like that. So no, I don't wish you would have gone anywhere else than where you at right now. I think you're right where you're supposed to be. I just wish all the bullshit wasn't going on and that you didn't have to go through the things that you have to go through. But
Yeah.
nah, you in the right place though. Do you feel like that? How do you feel?
Um, I think that at Georgia State, I think that I've definitely already, like, for it to be my second semester of college in general, and I've already, like, been in, like, three, well, not been in, but, I've heard about, like, three, four, like, students on my campus. I think that's unacceptable, but I don't know, like, I don't really know, like, exactly how to combat that. I don't know, like, what to do about that. I don't want to go to another school. I really do see myself graduating from Georgia State. But if that were to happen to like one of my friends or like to me, my roommate, like she got shot too. But like if I was my roommate, I would have to transfer somewhere else. It would be in Georgia because I am getting a free education, but I don't like I wouldn't stay here.
I mean, I have to point something out real quick. You see what you just did just there? How you just said, "Oh, my roommate, she got shot." Like you just kind of just like, eh. Oh, my roommate got. That's not normal. That's not normal. Oh God. And it's like our new norm, and I hate it that that's the new norm because your roommate got shot. What in the world is going on? Like what? I have to ask you this. What do you feel like Georgia State is doing to stop this gun violence, to stop the incidents that have been happening on campus? We're gonna put you on blast, Georgia State, if you're not doing nothing. What's up?
Um, I honestly feel like the incidents at Georgia State are very random. Like, I don't think they necessarily have to do with the school. I think that Georgia State is a very great, I think it's a great school. But the environment that it's in, it's literally in downtown Atlanta. It has, like, it's an open campus. But, like, they shot in, like, the dorms from the highway. So it's like, I don't really know, like, how they can really combat that. I know they talked to racetrack to shut down that that store, but it's like literally three stores next to there, so it's not like the parking lot is just gonna go like people are still gonna be in that parking lot. I don't really know. I think that yeah, I really don't know because the college is very spread out, so I don't see how. I don't know.
You know, and that's the thing is that, you can make the racetrack go away and that's fine, but now you're going to have an empty parking lot right there. There's an empty parking lot there. So what do you think that's going to mean? So I don't know if there's more police that needs to be on board. I don't know if they got cameras up everywhere. I don't know. No, go
Definitely,
ahead. You good.
track has shut down. 12 has been out there like a lot. Now they
12,
before
that's the police, y'all.
before they would like park their cars there and then leave. I don't know where they would go, but yeah, that happened. Like every time they were just shooting there, they were just an empty like police car. But now the police are like standing in the parking lots. They sit outside the parking lots. They're actually in their cars this time. But yeah, before it was just like I don't know what's happening. But I have seen that they have up the police at that parking lot.
That's good. And Atlanta police, look, we're not going to get down on y'all, but I mean, she's saying that, like, right outside where there have been shootings, that there's nobody in the cars to monitor what is going on. That's crazy. Like, that is crazy.
Literally. They'll be right behind your car telling you to move. Ugh, they'll be quick to put a boot on your car. Don't let me get into it.
Just happen talking about boots. Anyway, Kennedy, I appreciate you coming on here today, baby girl. I appreciate you being vulnerable. I think that you're an amazing human being. If there's anything that you ever need, your daddy got you. I love you with all my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of You Are Dope. We appreciate you for tuning in. And remember that you are
Dope.
dope. Let's
Bye,
get it, man.